Hey everyone, welcome back to another print on demand video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Amazon merch on demand. Now, for those of you who want to be a print on demand seller on Amazon's platform, this video is going to be extremely helpful for you. Now, also, those of you who are currently selling on Amazon's platform, but are not having as much success as you wish, this video is going to help you guys a ton. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. I just want you to know off the bat, this video is going to move at a quick pace. There is a lot of information for me to pack into it. I'm going to also put you on screen recording so you can see all of this with real examples. And this is literally going to be years worth of knowledge condensed into this video, so I really hope you guys take advantage of it. All right, let's switch over to the computer and get right into this video. Okay, so first things first, this is what Amazon Merch on Demand's sign up page looks like. I don't know why it is such a basic website. Amazon, I feel like, could do a lot better. However, this kind of keeps it low key. Now, with that being said, you can't see much about the program here, but if you come over to Amazon's actual website and you type in funny fishing shirt or a different type of t-shirt that would work for print on demand, you're going to see a ton of these listings. These are perfect examples of print on demand done with Amazon Merch on Demand. Now, these look like just everyday listings on Amazon, but the way that you know it's done with Amazon Merch on Demand is this tiny little label right here. So any product that you ever see listed on Amazon's marketplace that has this little label right here means that it is done with print on demand. So the seller is just uploading this design here. Amazon is literally doing everything else for them. So with that being said, the very first important thing that you need to know about Amazon Merch on Demand is that it is single-handedly the largest passive print on demand platform out there. So what passive print on demand means is that you are creating your designs as a print on demand seller, but instead of uploading them to your own website, you're uploading them to Amazon's website. Now, additionally, that means that Amazon is going to bring their own traffic, they're going to bring their own buyers, so you don't have to do any paid ads, you don't have to do any marketing, and those customers are going to pay for the full order up front. So you as the seller, you don't have to ever front money to have an order printed. And lastly, Amazon is going to handle all of the customer service for you. So if there's ever returns or exchange requests, Amazon takes care of all of that. As the seller, we don't even get notified. Now, the next really important thing to know about Amazon Merch on Demand is that it is 100% free to use. There are never any monthly fees to use Amazon Merch on Demand. You don't have to pay for those orders up front like we talked about. You are never going to be charged anything from Amazon. Now, this is a huge benefit to using Merch on Demand, but it comes with one catch. So if you go back to the sign up page for Amazon Merch on Demand, there is a legitimate sign up button here. So this is the next big point. Amazon is the only passive print on demand website out there where you have to actually apply to be a seller. Since they are entirely free to use and they have a massive marketplace, they can't just accept everyone who wants to upload designs and sell them. So once you click this sign up button, it brings you into their pretty quick application, but there are some important things to know and certain things that Amazon is looking for to accept you as a seller. In order to keep this video moving at a quick pace and cover a lot of ground here, I'm going to put a link to a video down in the description. It's a tutorial that walks you through this application step by step. However, the couple general important things for you to know is that you can apply to be a print on demand seller from anywhere in the world. If your specific location is not on the application in any of the drop downs, you can use a website called Payoneer, which is a free service that basically gives you US based banking information similar to PayPal, but geared towards international clients. And then know that once you've submitted your application, it can take up to 14 days to hear back from Amazon. If you haven't heard back from them in 14 days, definitely reach out to them. They have a specific support contact that you can use for the merch on demand department. So definitely reach out to them if you've waited that long. So knowing all of that about the application, once you've actually been accepted as a seller, that brings us into the next important point. What this is that Amazon uses a tier system. So all brand new accounts that have just been accepted are automatically in tier 10. Now, essentially what tier 10 means, or the number at the end of the tier, is how many design slots you have available on your account. This basically translates into how many listings you can have live on their platform at any given time. Now, the way that you advance in the tiers and you get more design slots that you can fill is by getting sales on the platform. So once you have a brand new account, you're kind of in the tightest position here. You only have 10 slots available, and the way to move into the next tier of 25 slots available is to get 10 sales. So there's two tips I can give you here. First is that Amazon does allow you to purchase your own design, so you can buy 10 of your own listings. That will move you into the next tier, and it kind of expedites this process very quickly. The second fastest way to get out of that first tier is by uploading designs that are in current trends. These trends are going to come and go, but whatever time that you've been approved on your account, look to see what current trends are happening right now. That means that it's typically going to be low competition if you've caught on to that trend early, and focus your first 10 designs on that trend. If the trend passes and you didn't get your full 10 sales, you can delete those listings, and each one one that you delete will open up that spot again, so you still have all 10 spots. And then the last important thing to know about the tier system, just to kind of save you some time and research, is the tiers go from tier 10 to tier 25 to tier 100, 500, 1000, and then beyond that point, it just opens up really quickly. All right, so this brings us into the next point. Once you've been accepted as a seller, you've gotten out of the first tier and you're starting to get more slots available. Now let's talk about intellectual property. Intellectual property is the biggest issue that print-on-demand sellers run into. Essentially, the three things that you need to pay attention to are trademarks, copyrights, and likeness. Starting with trademarks, this applies to the slogans that are on your shirt. So the actual phrase that you are using. You want to check every phrase before you put it into your design and ultimately list it to sell, that no one else owns the rights to that phrase. Real quickly, just so you know how this works, an individual or a company can, at any time, they can register a trademark and formally own a specific phrase on a t-shirt. This means that they have the right to tell anyone else who copies that phrase or unknowingly use that phrase to take down their listing. Now, the second form of intellectual property is copyright. This, in the vast majority of cases, is going to come in the form of a company's logo or a sports team's logo. So this one applies to actual graphics on your design. And then the third one is likeness. This is the one that most people don't know about. This means that you cannot use other people's faces, other people's reputation, or again, company logos. What so many people don't know in print on demand and generally selling things online is that you cannot just use someone else's face to try to make money off of. So I'm going to put a link to another video down in the description. It's a full print on demand tutorial. In that tutorial, it shows you how to check these to make sure that you can use everything on your designs. So we're moving right along in this video. The next really important thing to know about Amazon Merch on Demand is what strategy to use to get sales on their platform. So the first huge point to know here is that most of the big general niches are oversaturated. They have been around the longest. There are the most sellers in them, so it's hard to compete in those. However, if you dig into those overall niches and go beyond the surface level, you can find a ton of undersaturated gaps within those niches. Just to give you an example of this, instead of creating a shirt on motorcycles, which is a big overall niche, you can find sub niches within that, which could be dirt bikes, it could be cafe racers, it could be street bikes. They're all different versions of motorcycles. Now, what a lot of people don't know about these passive print on demand websites is that once you find kind of a template phrase that works in one niche, there are really good odds that it's going to work in several other niches as well. As long as that phrase is customizable, where you can just change the graphic, change the word of the niche, you can build an extremely successful print-on-demand business just by finding out what those universal phrases are. Now, for those of you who don't have a list of these kind of universal phrases yet, you can get access to 10 of mine for $10. Check out the link in the description. This is a massive resource that'll help you in print-on-demand. So let me actually take this a step further and give you an example of using one of these phrases and give you some design tips as well. Okay, so real quickly, this is the design tool that I use. It's called Place It. That full tutorial down in the description will walk you through all of this, but this is how you use those universal phrases. So this one clearly is already about dirt bikes. So one of the phrases that applies to all niches, to give you an idea here, is easily distracted by, and then you type in whatever that niche is. So this one is going to be dirt bikes. I'm going to get rid of this extra text down here. We'll just move this up a little bit and boom, there you have it. There is a design right here. Now, the way that this applies to pretty much all niches, if you can get the idea here, is you just click on the graphic. You can switch this to any of these graphics right here. So we'll just click on this one and we'll switch this to street bikes. There's your second design. You can come back in here. You can switch this again. That's a cafe racer. So we'll just click on here. Cafe racers. Boom, that's 3 designs right there within the motorcycle niche. Now, the reason that this works so well is because this was just the motorcycle niche. You can go into the graphics library and you can search the entire library for every other niche. So this could be horses, it could be different types of horses, it could be dogs, different types of dogs. It's pretty unlimited here. The more niches you can think of, the more you can create, and that's just one of the phrases. Okay, so to jam as much value as possible into this video, let's keep going on this design here. I have a bunch of helpful things that'll come kind of rapid fire here. So let's say that we want to use this design right here. That looks perfect. If we just download this design and then we go over to Amazon Merch on Demand and we click and we upload this, you are going to see over here when you go to edit details that this is what this design looks like. Now, something that Amazon Merch on Demand is absolutely looking for is if you did not remove the background. So if you put that on a white shirt, you're going to see it still has that black background that we had in our design tool over here. Now, the second important thing, and I'm going to put this on a white shirt so we can see this even better, is that this design doesn't fully fill the whole template here on Amazon Merch on Demand. Now, on other passive print on demand websites, they allow you to zoom it in and you don't have an issue with this. Amazon is very specific on their designs. So although we can scale it down, we can't scale it any bigger than the size it is that we uploaded it. Now, with that being said, let me show you what you do to fix both of these issues. So back on our design tool, just come over here, go to background color, and hit the little checkerboard at the bottom. Now this is specific to Place It. They just make it super easy to do this. But now that we have that, we just go back up here and click download again. And then we'll just go back up here. We'll hit the trash to get rid of that design. We'll upload the new one. So you can see that it doesn't have the black background here, but white text on a white shirt is also not really going to work. So I'm not going to include white there. But when you put on a black shirt or anything that is dark colored, this is going to look perfect. So if this is your design right here, just make sure that you don't have it too far in the belly. You want to put it to the top. And then to make sure that it really is centered, you can just hit the center button right here. And then the last tip that's really going to give you a lot of bang for your buck here is that although this would work perfect, if you turn the guides off, you can see that's a great shirt right there. A tip that I can give you here that'll lead to more sales only really takes a couple extra seconds. Once you've downloaded that design, you will get this little box next to it. Just click on that little box. This is going to load that design into their image cropper. And this is where we can put in 4,500 by 5,400. This is the specific size that Amazon Merch on Demand is looking for. And just know that if you convert your designs to this size for Amazon, you can still use them on the passive print on demand websites. So it's kind of like a do it once, and then it fits Amazon plus the other ones as well. But once you've done this size here of 4,500 by 5,400, zoom your design in a little bit and move it to the top. Now it's going to take up that whole space. Download that new design. And now when we come back up here, X out of this one and upload the new one, you can see how much better of a shirt this looks like just by changing the size right there. Now, I know that was a lot of information on designing, but I'm trying to cram as much value into this video as possible. But just know that once you know how to create these designs, the idea is then to come up with as many niches as possible and put those universal phrases into all of those niches. Okay, so we've already covered a lot of ground in this video, but there's a couple more important things for you to know, starting with the actual earnings of these sales. So we can use this as a perfect example right here. This is a t-shirt if you're selling in the US marketplace. If this shirt is priced at $18.99, you will get $4.15 as your estimated royalty. If you change that to $19.99, which is a very popular sales price, you are going to get $4.89 on every sale. Now, what I love about Amazon is that the customer pays for the whole order up front. So we don't get charged anything when an order comes in. We never have to pay for anything. We just get our $4 or $4.89, whatever the price is set at. We get that profit put into our account when the order ships. Now, this is a good time to say that if you are based in the United States, you will get paid automatically every month through direct deposit. And then if you are based outside of the United States, you have kind of two choices here. So you can either get direct deposits the same way we do in the United States, or you can get a wire. Now, the only catch to getting a wire is that the threshold has to be over $100 that you've earned in the last month or has accrued in your account until they can pay you out that month. When it comes to getting a direct deposit, whether you are in the United States or outside of the United States, there are no minimum thresholds. So if you have it set up that way, even if you are just getting started, you're only making a couple sales, you're still going to get paid that every month. Now, something else that's important to know is you get to pick which marketplaces of Amazon your designs get listed on. So I think you're going to find that a lot of sales come from the United States marketplace, and the exchange rate, depending on where you live outside of the US, could be very beneficial to you. So that $4.89 might convert into a much higher amount in your own currency. This is just a really cool caveat to selling on Amazon Merch on Demand, something that I thought I'd take a second to mention. Now, the last very important thing to know is returns. So shirts do get returned to Amazon for whatever reason. Amazon is going to handle all of this for us, so we don't even get notified as a seller. What is going to happen with the profit that went into your account is the profit that went in on that sale will be removed from your account, but just know that Amazon is never going to charge your bank any amount of money. So for those of you looking for your next steps with Amazon Merch on Demand, depending on where you are in this process, the resources down in the description will help you. The first one is for the application. The second one is the full tutorial that walks you through everything from start to finish. And the third one is the 10 for 10. That will give you those universal phrases that you can apply to all of the niches. Guys, I really hope that this video has been helpful. If you have any lingering questions or anything that wasn't covered, let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to help you out. If you enjoyed this video, please just give it a thumbs up. I really would appreciate that. And I will be seeing you guys in the next video.